Hey guys, I'm Chris, and this is Fully Defined. Welcome back to the Build and Learn series, where LEGO builds and SolidWorks skills come together. In this lesson, we're doing 3 parts. We're looking at a 2x2 plate with a rounded bottom. We're also doing the steering wheel and the little shaft that it connects to. And 2 of these parts make good use of a Cut Revolve and a Revolve Boss. So if you're unfamiliar with using those tools, I recommend you check out the video. Let's get into it. Hey, let's keep going. Where we're at last time, or where we're up to. Step 38 complete. We go to step 39 and this new grey round part. If we have a look at that, 3 of them in this model. In the part 427, but here, a plate round 2x2 with a rounded bottom. So this is what we're looking at. Not as faceted as what you can see on this image. Faceting is when the curves of a model or an object are tessellated, which means they go into triangles to create a mesh. Okay, so each of those triangles would actually be flat, but they join to kind of create this shape. It's not a real representation of what the object is. If we have a look here at what the object and the part looks like, you can see it's smooth around on the top. You can see it's got a bit of a gloss to it. On the bottom, we've got a bit of a flat in the center, and then we've got 4 studs, each kind of hollow. So let's get to building it. This will be let's use a 2x2 piece, but I'm actually going to do quite a bit of work to it. So I'm going to call it a plate round 2x2 with a rounded bottom. So we'll save this part as a copy and open and give it that new name. And what we're going to do here is delete the other configurations. We won't be using them. Delete the other features as well, just to clean up the file. Okay, so now if we're looking at this, how are we going to create this shape? Let's start with our square here. Now we can assume that it's going to have a diameter of 15.8. If we give it a measure, we can see that that is correct. So what we do here is change that square to a circle. All right, that's the first step. Now, before we roll through and do the studs, what we should also do is create the round on the bottom. Now to do this, we can actually measure the height of the entire shape. So I'm measuring from the flat surface, that goes through the middle to the round surface on the back. And I can see that that is about 3.2. It's actually the same as what the standard thickness of the part is. So that gives me a really good guide. Now, the other thing that I can see in this model is that there is a flat section on the top before that curve starts, and that measures around 1 millimeter. So there's a couple of ways we can create this shape. Given it's 3.2 and we've already got this extrude here and it's round, what I'm going to do is a Revolve Cut. To do that, what we're going to do is draw an arc that goes from one side to the middle point. And at this point, I'm also going to draw in, there's a little lip on the very edge. We're going to draw that in as well. Now, how I'm actually going to do this is change that outside line to full construction. So if we're looking at the sketch, you can see I've got one rectangle in the top, and then I've got an arc and this other line and shape on the bottom. So I'm going to make those tangents. I'm going to put a construction line up the middle because I'll use that to revolve around. Now, this flat section here, I said from here to here is about 1 millimeter. The lip that goes in, I'm going to say that's about 0.5 millimeter. Maybe it's a little bit less, but we'll see. And maybe it's 0.5 high. So that probably actually makes sense. And now, if we go into a 3D and I go to use my Revolve Cut, shortcut key for me, Shift R, for access of revolution, select that middle one. Normally here we'd be able to see a preview showing both. But what's happening, I believe, is this bottom sketch, because it kind of intersects itself here, it's not working. Yeah, and we're getting an error, rebuild error. So we'll just go back and we'll just change that sketch. And the way I'm going to change it is delete this line, extend this line down so that there is a section underneath the part, just 1 millimeter, and that'll give it a bit more room to revolve. So when I try again, this time we get the revolve for both sections. And I press OK. Right, that looks reasonable. Yeah. Now it's, in this case, it's very hard to accurately measure the radius of this type of part. I've assumed that it's a perfect arc, but it might not be. We know it's too hard to really measure any more detail than that for that kind of small round part. Okay, now there is a dome going through the middle as well, so it does dip down. For that, we could actually try a shell. There is a shell feature here. So let's see if we can use that. I'm not sure if we'll be able to. Doesn't like that. I can. No, it doesn't want to do this shell either. Don't think we're going to be able to do that. So what we will do, something slightly different. Let's do a section view through the middle, and we can add in another profile for our cut, the Revolve Cut. What we'll do is draw another sketch that's on the top that comes down, and then we're going to offset this arc here. So it's got a consistent wall thickness. I'm going to change the distance there and make sure it's coming up. I'm going to use the 1.2 mil thickness, which is fairly standard from what we can see. Then I'm going to join up those sketches. So now our Revolve Cut is also going to cut material from the middle of our part. And then we get that dome face going through the middle. What that looks like in a section view, you can see it's coming through in the middle like that. Okay, and that means we no longer need that shell feature. And now to finish off, we could put in our studs on top. So these will be a little bit different. We do have a flat face there to use, so we'll keep that. We'll edit the sketch, and we're editing the sketch because these will be completely, well, actually it's very, very close already. These studs are still the same dimension, 4.8. However, in the part, I can see that this edge actually aligns with this one. So something needs to change. And if I'm looking really closely at these studs, see if I can capture this on video for you. Might not be able to get the quality. Let's try here. Okay. So looking from this view, they look round, but if you look really closely at the edge, it's actually cut. Okay. So it's mostly round around the outside, but at this outside edge here, it's got a little almost flat surface here, which matches up with this. So that suggests to me that the dimension on the current sketch that we've got is correct. Use a tool afterwards to correct things. Okay, so I'm going to delete this construction line and these sketches here. I don't need them. I'm going to add a hole on the inside, which is the usual 0.8 of an offset. So let's see if we can offset each of them. 0.8 reverse. Okay, we're going to go up the normal amount for the extrude art, but we're going to choose a second direction. And for that, we're going to go up to surface. So then it's going to close all the way in. We do have to do another section on the outside. We can test that in a minute. If we change this up to next, it's not quite going to work. It's not coming to this bottom surface. So let's just keep those up to surface and okay. So it's gone down correctly in the middle section. All we need to do is get this little section here to come down to this face. So we'll use two. Delete this boss feature here. Don't need it. I'm going to use two tools which you normally wouldn't use, but could be quite quick at resolving this issue in some situations. So the first one is Move Face. This tool can be found under Insert, Face, Move, and I'm going to select the face that I want to move, and I'm going to hit Offset. Now it's set to 10 millimeters by default. If I change that to 0.5, let's see if I want to then do a delete face to remove the top section. No, that's okay. So look, there's what we're trying to do here is 1, join this face to this one, but then 2, trim away the excess on the outside. We'll do it in 2 steps. So first step, I'm going to use the Move Face tool on all 4 faces on the outside. And then second step, I'm doing a sketch on this face and I'm going to convert entities for each of those overhanging sections. And then I'm going to do an extruded cut that goes through all. We can see now I get that little cut on the outside I was showing you in that video. Awesome. Okay. Part done. Let's assemble. Now, where does it go? 3 all on the bottom, 2 at the back, and 1 between the black and the white parts. Okay. 1 there, which means one of them is mirrored as well. So this one can be mirrored. So use some mates, and we can probably use these rounds to align it. I won't be able to use that one. I think I'll be able to use that and that. Cool. And then on this side, these faces round to round, round to round, and edit our mirror to include that one. That's done. And that is step 39. So that is the last of our steps 30 to 39. That's okay. Next part. We have a steering wheel, a very tiny steering wheel, and a little black triangle looking piece. Okay, and these parts, should find them here. Black steering wheel, black pneumatic T-piece. All right, so steering wheel first. Once again, we're using tessellation in that image preview. There's some cool details on this part. It's a nice sample for learning some, let's say, Revolve tools, Revolve and pattern. So let's give it a go. Name of the part. Steering wheel. Spine. Okay. Not a conventional Lego part, so we don't need to start with anything in particular. It's got a round section on the bottom. We'll build it up. It's a really very small part, so it is going to be difficult to measure accurately. We'll just do our best. It's not a part that's going to be like a bridge between anything else. So if we're off a little bit with the dimensions, not too fast, we just want to get the shape right. Going to trim away a little bit of material on the outside by using a flip side to cut feature. Okay, so it just skinnies it up there a little bit. You can see where that step is. Now for the wheel part, let's go on the front plane. It does feel and look like a round 2.4. And if we put a construction line in the middle, we can actually get a dimension from outside to outside, and we can dimension this on the part itself, 15.8. As for the height of that wheel, that is one of the tallest parts from the bottom, 6.4. We can assume that that's solid, and then from the top view, we have to add the material that joined it. It also has a rib underneath it, 2.8, and that's from this face here. So if we convert this edge, and we draw a rectangle, and we make these equal and give them a dimension, and then with this circular point in the middle, we just offset that, let's say, 1. We can just join up both of those, okay, and then we get the shape that we're going to extrude. We're going to extrude that. Again, it's difficult to measure that little detail. Let's assume it's about 1.2 millimeter, and we'll just see what that looks like. It's pretty good. Okay, and it does have a rib on the bottom, an angled rib, so we'll put that into. What that looks like is using a sketch on the right plane, doing a section view. We're going to put a rib in between here and here. So I'm going to make sure this rib is piercing this point. I'm also going to give the rib an angle, 45 degrees. And then if I turn the section view off and do a hidden lines or wireframe shot, you just move the rib and make it coincident with that edge. And then I can measure the rib, 1 millimeter. I'm not doing an extrude here. I'm actually going to hit the rib tool, put rib in, and that completes it for us. And then my last step, I'm going to do a circular pattern, and I'm going to add 3 of these. So I'm patterning the boss and the rib. And there's our steering wheel. Now these top parts have a couple of little fillets on them, so just going to put those in too. Smooth the part out a little bit, and that looks really good. So let's save. Vehicle steering wheel, small, 2 studs diameter. Okay, great. Now I don't think we can use that part until we do our second part, which is the T-piece. Now, in this CAD, you can see there's quite a few little details in there. It is a solid part. Looks like a solid part, but is it? This suggests there's a hole. I don't know about that. Yes, it definitely has a hole. Very small, but simple parts model. So let's do that. Let's copy paste the name. We can save that straight away. That's a new part. I'm going to start on front plane. I'm just going to draw a circle here, which is the first section of the T. 3.2, very small part as you can see, and we'll put the hole in as well, and my hole's going to be 1.2. All right, now we will move the full width of the part and do it in a second. For now, we're going to extrude this 8 millimeters. And on the right plane, or the top plane, let's use the top. Here we can draw in what is a joining component or a joining feature, and it is a sphere that measures at 4.4. You can look at that. And if I measure this from the very end of the shape we've just done, I can see that it is at 10.4 from this front face. So that's what I'm using to get that dimension fully defined, or that location confirmed. Now this is a sphere, so I'm going to cut it in half, do a revolve, select one side, and select axis being the middle. Okay, that's quite quick and easy. And it's also going to act as my center point for this extrude here. This will be same as the other one. I think it was 3.2. Yep. I just need to make sure it's in the center. And then I said this hole was 1.2, and then I can extrude this, the usual dimension, 15.8, but we're doing it mid-plane. It's going to merge. Now, I've obviously made this solid, so I need to cut that hole. To do that, I'm going to select this contour, do an extruded cut, but just select the hole in the middle and make sure that's going through both directions. See, it goes all the way through now. From my front view, I want to do the same thing. Again, select that central hole. This one, I'm just going up to surface, which is this round here. Okay, so now when we do a top view section of this, we can see that, yeah, the air goes all the way through both ends. Now, there's also a small chamfer on both ends of this part, all three ends. So we'll grab our chamfer tool and select these outside faces. All right, and that part's done. Another simple part, save that, and let's go to our assembly. So we'll put T-piece in here and then steering wheel on top. Over, T-piece first, steering wheel second. So we're going to mate to this round, just slide it over, and then we'll select the right plane of that part and the right plane of the assembly to mate. That'll put it in the middle, right? And then we'll do mate with our steering wheel. Now for the steering wheel, let's see how they actually fit together. If it's a tight fit, yeah, it sort of goes all the way through. You don't have to push it all the way through, but you can put this face in line with this face here. So we'll do that. We'll make that concentric. We can also lock rotation. Now, using the lock rotation box, that's going to prevent that wheel from spinning around. Because it's already lined up, we may as well hit that now. We don't have to worry about it later. And then the whole thing, you can see, we can rotate. All right, that's fine as is. Let's move on. Hey, thanks for watching all the way to the end. Really appreciate that. This has been the LEGO Build and Learn series by Fully Defined. If the next video has been released, it'll be on the top link to your right. Please hit the thumbs up and subscribe, and leave a comment below with what you'd like to see next. Your feedback is what motivates me to provide more content. See you in the next one.